Hello students, welcome back to a new video of Sunanda's tutorial. So in this video we will discuss about the classification of animal kingdom and the salient features of different phylum which are present under the animal kingdoms. So let's start. When you look around, you will observe different animals with different structures and forms. As over a million species of animal have been described till now, the need for classification becomes all more important. The classification also helps in assigning a systematic position to newly described species. So, what is the main aim of this classification? To categorize, identify, give a name to a species and categorize it into a new category or place it under a category according to its structure or morphological structure or anatomical features. So what are the basis of classification? In spite of differences in structure and forms in different animals, there are fundamental features common to various individuals in relation to the arrangement of cells, body symmetry, then nature of cellome, pattern of digestive, circulatory and reproductive systems. These features are used as the basis of animal classification. So what are the basis? One is arrangement of cells, how cells are arranged. Then body symmetry, whether it is radial symmetrical or bilateral symmetrical. Then nature of cellome means body cavity. Then pattern of digestive, circulatory or reproductive systems. These features are used as the basis of animal classification and some of them are discussed here. At first, the level of organization. So though all the animals are multicellular, all of them do not exhibit the same pattern of organization of cells. For example, in sponges, the cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates, that is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. Some division of labor occur among the cells. In coelenterate, the arrangement of cell is more complex. Here the cells performing same function are arranged into the tissues, hence called the tissue level of organization. So in sponges only the cellular level of organization is seen, but in case of the coelenterate, tissue level of organization occur. A still higher level of organization, that is organ level, is exhibited by the member of Platyhelminthes and other higher phyla where tissues are grouped together to form an organ, each specialized for a particular function. So these Platyhelminthes and coelenterate, these are different phyla under the animal kingdom. In animals like annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, chordates, organs have associated to form functional system, each system concerned with specific physiological function. This pattern is called organ system. So at first, group of cells are called the tissues, then tissue system, then tissue system constitute a organ, then many organs constitute a organ system, and many organ system work togetherly to form the body. Then organ system in different groups of animals exhibit various patterns of complexities. For example, the digestive system of Platyhelminthes has only single opening to the outside of body that serves both as mouth for the ingestion of food and anus for excretion. Hence it is called the incomplete pattern or incomplete digestive system. And complete digestive system has two opening, one mouth and another one is anus. Similarly, the circulatory system can be of two types. One is open type, second one is closed type. In open type, blood is pumped out of the heart and cells and tissues are directly bathed in it. But in closed type, the blood is circulated through a series of vessels of varying diameters, and the vessels are arteries, veins and capillaries. Then what is body symmetry? Animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Sponges are mostly asymmetrical. They do not have any body symmetry. That is, any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into two equal halves. When any plane passing through central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. Coelenterate, ctenophores, echinoderms have this kind of body plan. Animals like annelid, arthropods, where the body can be divided into identical left and right halves in only one plane, exhibit bilateral symmetry. So it is the bilateral symmetry where the body can be divided into two equal halves, but it is the radial symmetry where the body, we can divide the body into any plane. So there are two types of symmetry. One is radial symmetry, one is bilateral symmetry. When any plane passing through central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. From any plane we can divide the body into two equal halves. But in case of bilateral symmetry, when the body have similar left and right half. Then what is diploblastic, triploblastic organization? Animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers, an external ectoderm and internal endoderm, called diploblastic. For example, in case of coelenterate. An undifferentiated layer, mesoglia, is present between ectoderm and endoderm. Those animals in which the developing embryo has third germinal layer called mesoderm is called the triploblastic animals. For example, Platyhelminthes to chordates. So the diploblastic animals have two layers or embryonic layers or two layers present in their growing embryo. But in triploblastic animal, they have three layers in their growing embryo. One is ectoderm, endoderm and the middle mesoderm. Then what is coelom? Presence and absence of cavity between body wall and gut wall is very important in classification. The body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called coelom. Animals possessing coelom or body cavity is called coelomates. For example, annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. In some animals, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, mesoderm is present as scattered pouches between ectoderm and endoderm. Such body cavity is called pseudocoelom, and the animal possessing them called pseudocoelomates. Example, Aschelminthes. The animals in which the body cavity is totally absent called acoelomate. For example, Platyhelminthes. Then segmentation. In some animals, body is externally and internally divided into many segments with a series of repetition of at least some organs. For example, in earthworm, the body shows this pattern called metameric segmentation, and the phenomenon is called metamerism. Their body is divided into many segments. Then noctocode. Noctocode is mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development. So during the development of the embryo, one organ is mesodermally derived. That means it is derived from the or developed from the mesoderm layer. So animals with this noctocode are called the chordates, and those animals which lack this noctocode is called non-chordates. For example, The examples of non-chordates are Porifera to echinoderms. Porifera to echinoderms. Then, so these are the basis of classification. Till now we are studying about the basis of classification. Then now we will study about the classification. The broad classification of Animalia is based on common fundamental features as mentioned in preceding sections, is given in figure 4.4. So in 4.4, so at first the kingdom Animalia, which are multicellular and heterotrophic organisms. So the cellular level of organization is shown by the Porifera phylum, and they are mostly asymmetrical and they lack the body cavity or cellum, so they are acellomate. And then tissue level of organization or organ level of organization was shown by other phylum, members of other phylum. Then radial symmetry is shown by the Coelenterata and Ctenophora, and they also lack the body cavity, so they are also acellomate. Then bilateral symmetry is shown by the Platyhelminthes, Axhelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. Platyhelminthes lack the body cavity. Then Axhelminthes have pseudocellum or false body cavity, but true cellum is present in Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So it is a broad classification of animal kingdom based on the common fundamental features. So at first the phylum Porifera. The phylum Porifera, the members of this phylum are commonly known as sponges. They are generally marine in habitat and mostly asymmetrical. These are primitive multicellular animals and have cellular level of organization. Sponges have a water transport canal system. Water enters through minute pores into their body called ostia. So the pores are called ostia into a central cavity. The pores directly connected with their central cavity, which is present in the middle of their body, called the spongosole, from where it goes out through the osculum. So from spongosole or spongosole, the water came out through osculum. This pathway of water transport is helpful in food gathering and respiratory exchange along with the removal of waste. Then canocytes or collar cell lines in spongosole and the canals. So the canocytes and the collar cells present as the lining of the spongosole or canals. Digestion is intracellular. The body is supported by a skeleton made up of spicules or spongin fibers. Sexes are not separate, so they are hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites means both the sexes are present in one body. Then that is, egg and sperms are produced by the same individual. Sponges reproduce asexually by fragmentation. A part is detached from the body and developed into another individual by the process of fragmentation, and sexually by the formation of gametes, that is male and female gamete. Then fertilization is internal, that means inside the body, and development is indirect, having a larval stage which is morphologically distinct from the adult. And the example of Porifera is Sion, Euspongia, Spongilla. Then phylum Coelenterata or Cnidaria. They are aquatic, mostly marine, sessile or free swimming, radially symmetrical. Their body can be divided into any planes. The name Cnidaria is derived from the cnidoblast or cnidocytes, which contain a stinging capsule or nematocyst present on the tentacles and the body. Cnidoblasts are used for anchorage, defense and capture of prey. Cnidarians exhibit tissue level of organization and diploblastic. That means during the embryonic development they have two layers or two germ layers. One is ectoderm and the inner layer is endoderm. They have central gastrovascular cavity with single opening mouth on hypostome. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Some of the cnidarians, for example corals, have skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. It is a very important point. Corals have skeleton which is composed of calcium carbonate. Cnidarian exhibit two basic body forms called polyp and medusa. The former, that means the polyp, is sessile and cylindrical form like hydra, adamsia, whereas the latter, which is medusa, is umbrella shaped, free swimming like Aurelia or jellyfish. Those cnidarians which exist in both forms exhibit alternation of generation called the metagenesis. Polyps produce medusa asexually and medusa form the polyp sexually, as is seen in case of Obelia. So the example of this cnidaria is Physalia, Adamsia, then Gorgonia, Pennatula, then Mindrina. So these are the examples of your cnidaria phylum. Then phylum Ctenophora. Ctenophores, commonly known as sea walnuts or comb jellies, are exclusively marine, radially symmetrical, diploblastic organism with tissue level of organization. They have tissue. Then diploblastic, that means they are in their embryo two germ layers are present, ectoderms and endoderms. Their body can be divided into any plane. They are marine, they show marine habitat. The body bears 8 external rows of ciliated comb plates which helps in locomotion, and their digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Bioluminescence, which is a property of living organism to emit light, is well marked in ctenophores. So this ctenophores show bioluminescence. Bioluminescence means the property of emit light, and this property is shown by the ctenophores. Sexes are not separate, that means these are hermaphrodite. Reproduction takes place only by sexual means. Fertilization is external with indirect development. Example, Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana. Then phylum Platyhelminthes. They have dorso-ventrally flattened body, hence called as flatworm. They have dorsal as well as ventral surface. These are mostly endoparasite. Endoparasite means they live inside the body of another animal as parasite. Flatworms are bilaterally symmetrical. Their body can be divided into equal plane. They have equal or same right and left side. Then they are triploblastic. Their embryo have 3 germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm and the middle mesoderm. Then they are acellomate. They lack the body cavity and they show the organ level of organization. Hooks and sucker are present in the parasitic forms. They helps to derive the nutrient from the host. Then specialized cell called phlegm cells help in osmoregulation and excretion. Sexes are not separate. Fertilization is internal. Development through many larval stage. Some members of planaria possess high regeneration capability. That means any fragment of the planaria body can be developed to form a new body of planaria. Example is Tinea, that means tapeworm, and Fasciola, that is liver fluke. These are the examples of phylum Platyhelminthes. This is the tapeworm and it is the liver fluke. Then phylum Aschelminthes. The body of Aschelminthes is circular in cross section, hence the name round dome. They may be free living, aquatic and terrestrial, or parasitic in plants and animals. Round domes have organ level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. Their body can be divided into two equal halves. They have same left and right side. Triploblastic, that means possess three germ layers during embryonic development: ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Then they are pseudocelomate. They do not possess a true coelom or body cavity. Then alimentary canal is complete with a well developed muscular pharynx. An excretory tube remove body waste from body cavity through excretory pore. Sexes are separate. That means they are dioecious. Male and female body are distinct. Often female are longer than male. Fertilization is internal and development may be direct. The young ones resemble with the adult or indirect. Examples of Aschelminthes: ascaris, which is round worm; Wucheria, filaria worm; and Ancylostoma, hookworm. So these are the examples of phylum Aschelminthes. Then phylum Annelida. They may be aquatic, marine or freshwater, or terrestrial. Sometimes they are free living, sometimes they live as parasite inside a body of another organism. They exhibit organ system level of body organization. So in their body many organs function togetherly to form a organ system, and they show bilateral symmetry. Then they are triploblastic, metamerically segmented. Their body is metamerically segmented, and coelomate animals. Their body surface is distinctly marked out with segments or metameres. Hence, the phylum name as Annelida. Annelida, annulus means, in Latin language, the annulus means little rings. They possess longitudinal and circular muscles which helps in the locomotion. Aquatic annelids like Nereis possess lateral appendages, parapodia which helps in swimming. A closed circulatory system is present. Then nephridia helps in osmoregulation or excretion. Neural system consists of paired ganglia or ganglion connected by the lateral knobs to a double ventral nerve cord. Nereis, an aquatic form, is dioecious, but earthworm and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction is mostly sexual. So the example of nephridia is Nereis, Ferretima, which is the earthworm, then Hirudinaria, blood-sucking leech. Then phylum Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of Animalia, which includes insect. Over 2/3 of all named species on earth are arthropods. They have organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, segmented, coelomate animals. The body of arthropods is covered by chitinous exoskeleton. The body consists of a head, thorax and abdomen, and these are joined by the jointed appendages. Respiratory organs are present, which is gill, book lungs or trachea system. Circulatory system is often open type. Sensory organs like antenna, eye, then statocyst or balancing organs are present. Excretion takes place through Malpighian tubule. They are mostly dioecious. Fertilization is mostly internal, and they are mostly oviparous. That means they lay egg. Development may be direct or indirect. Economically important insects are Apis, which is honeybee, then Bombyx, silkworm, Laccifer, lac insect, and some act as vectors: Anopheles, Culex, Aedes, then Gregarious pest are locust, then living fossil, Limulus, which is king crab. Then the phylum Mollusca. This is the second largest animal phylum. Mollusks are terrestrial or aquatic. Aquatic means They can be marine or freshwater, having an organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and coelomate animals. Their body is covered by a calcareous cell and unsegmented with a distinct head, muscular foot and visceral hump. A soft spongy layer of skin forms mantle over the visceral hump. The space between hump and mantle called mantle cavity, in which feather-like gills are present. They have respiratory and excretory function. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. The mouth contains file-like rasping organ for feeding called radula. Example of mollusca are pila and octopus. It is pila and it is octopus. And they are mostly dioecious. The male and female sex are present in different bodies. Then oviparous, that means they lay egg, and so indirect development, that means larval stage are present. Then these are the examples of mollusca. Then phylum Echinodermata. These animals have endoskeleton of calcareous ossicle and hence named as Echinodermata. All are marine with organ system level of organization. The adult are radially symmetrical, but larvae are bilateral symmetrical. So it is an exceptional case where the adult echinoderms show radial symmetry, but larvae show bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic and coelomate animals. Digestive system is complete with mouth and anus. Mouth is present and anus is present. Two openings are present. The most distinctive feature of echinoderm is presence of water vascular system, which helps in locomotion, capture, transport of food as well as respiration. The excretory system is totally absent. Then sexes are separate, that means they are dioecious. Reproduction is sexual, fertilization is external, development is indirect with free swimming larvae. Example, Asterias, Echinus, Antedon, then Cucumaria and Ophura. So these are the examples of Echinodermata. Then phylum Hemichordata. Hemichordata was earlier considered as subphylum under the phylum Chordata, but now it is placed as a separate phylum under non-Chordata. Hemichordates have rudimentary structure with collar region called stomochord, a structure which is similar to notochord but not true notochord. This phylum consists of a small group of worm-like marine animals with organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and coelomate animals. The body is cylindrical and composed of anterior proboscis, a collar and a long trunk. Circulatory system is open type. Respiration takes place through gills. Excretory organs is proboscis gland. Sexes are separate and the fertilization is external. Development is indirect. For example, Balanoglossus and Saccoglossus. Example of Hemichordata, Balanoglossus and Saccoglossus. Then phylum Chordate. Animals belonging to phylum Chordata are fundamentally characterized by the presence of notochord. What is notochord? A dorsal hollow nerve cord and paired pharyngeal gill slit. These are bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic, coelomate with organ system level of organization. They possess a post-anal tail and a closed circulatory system. So here in table 4.1, the difference or comparison between the chordates and non-chordates are given. The first difference is in chordates notochord is present, but in non-chordates notochord is absent. Then second difference is central nervous system is dorsal, hollow and single, but in non-chordates central nervous system is ventrally present, solid and double. Then in chordates pharynx perforated by gill slit, but in non-chordates gill slits are totally absent. Then in chordates the heart is ventral, but here in non-chordates heart is dorsal. Then in chordates the post-anal part or tail is present, but in non-chordates post-anal tail is absent. Phylum Chordata is again divided into three subphylum: Urochordata or tunicata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Urochordata and Cephalochordata are referred to as protochordate, which are exclusively marine. They are mostly marine. In Urochordata, notochord is present only in larval tail, while in Cephalochordata it extends from head to tail region and persistent throughout their life. Then here are some example of Urochordata. The members of Vertebrata possess notochord during embryonic period. Notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or bony vertebral column in the adult. Thus all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Besides the basic chordate character, vertebrates have a ventral muscular heart with 2, 3 or 4 chamber, kidney for excretion and osmoregulation, and paired appendages which may be fins or limbs. So the subphylum Vertebrata again divided as follows. Vertebrata have two divisions, Anatha and Gnathostomata. Then under the Anatha class Cyclostomata is present. Then Gnathostomata, which the organisms which bears jaw, have two superclass. One is Pisces and the second one is Tetrapoda. Under Pisces, Chondrichythis and Osteochythis are present. Chondrichythis and Osteochythis are present. Then under Tetrapoda, class Amphibia, Reptilia, apes and mammals are present. So these are the classes. Under Pisces, Chondrichythis and Osteochythis are present, and under the Tetrapoda, Amphibia, Reptilia, apes, mammals classes are present. Then the first one, the class Cyclostomata, which is present under Anatha, which lack jaw. All living members of Cyclostomata are ectoparasite on some fishes. They present as parasite on the body surface of other fishes. They have an elongated body bearing pairs of 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. Cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth without jaw. Their body is devoid of scales and paired fins. Cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. Circulation system is closed type. That means the circulation occurs through vessels. Then cyclostomes are marine but migrate for spawning to freshwater. After spawning, within a few days, they die. Their larva after metamorphosis returns to ocean. Example, Petromyzon and Myxine. Then Chondrichythis, they are marine with streamlined body, have cartilaginous endoskeleton. Mouth is located ventrally. Notochord is persistent throughout the life. Gill slits are separate without operculum. That means gill cover is absent. Skins are tough, containing minute scales, placoid scales. Teeth are modified placoid scales which are backwardly directed. Their jaw are very powerful. These animals are predaceous. Due to absence of air bladder, they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. The heart is two-chambered with one auricle, one ventricle. Some of them have electrical organ, for example in torpedo, and some possess poison sting, for example trigon. They are cold-blooded, that means poikilothermos animals, that is they lack the capacity to regulate their body temperature. Sexes are separate. In males, the pelvic fins bear claspers. They have internal fertilization and many of them are viviparous. For example, Scoliodon, Priestis, then Carcharodon, Trigon. These are the examples of your Chondrochythis. Then after Chondrochythis, Osteichthyes. It includes marine and freshwater forms with bony endoskeleton. Their body is streamlined. Mouth are mostly terminal. They have 4 pairs of gills covered by the gill slit or operculum. Skins covered by scales. Air bladders is present to regulate the buoyancy. Heart is two-chambered. They are cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external, outside the body. and they are mostly oviparous, that means lay egg, and development is direct. So these are some examples of your Osteichthyes. Then the class Amphibia. As the name indicates, the amphibians can live as aquatic as well as terrestrial habitat. Most of them have two pairs of limbs. The body is divided into head and trunk. Tails may be present in some. Amphibian skin is mainly moist. Eyes have eyelid. A tympanum represent the ear. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts open to a common chamber called cloaca, which opens to exterior. Respiration is by gill, lung and through skins. Heart is three chambered, two auricle and one ventricle. These are cold-blooded animals. Here sexes are separate and the fertilization is external. They lay the eggs, so oviparous, and development is indirect. And example of it is amphibia. Example of amphibia are salamander and rana. Then Reptilia, the class Reptilia, as the name suggests, they show creeping or crawling mode of locomotion, mostly terrestrial. They bear minute scales or scutes on their body surface. They have external ear opening, and tympanum represent the ear. Then limbs, when present, are two pairs. Heart usually three chambered but four chambered in crocodiles. Reptiles are poikilothms. Snakes and lizards shed their skins or scales as skin cast. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal inside the body. Generally they lay eggs, so oviparous. Development is direct. For example, chelon or turtle, then testudo or tortoise, chameleon or true lizard, then calotis or garden lizard, crocodile, crocodilus, alligator, then hemidactylus or wall lizard, poison snakes, naja, cobra, then bangarus or crate, vipera or viper. So these are the examples of Reptilia. Then class apes. The characteristic features of apes is present of feather, and most of them can fly except flightless birds. For example, ostrich. Ostrich cannot fly. Then they possess beak. The forelimb are modified into wings. The hind limb generally have scales and modified for walking, swimming, clasping the branches. Skin is dry without glands except the oil gland at the base of the tail. Endoskeleton is fully ossified, that means bony, and long bones are hollow with air cavity called pneumatic bones. The digestive tract of birds has additional chamber, the crop and gizzard. Heart is four chambered. They are warm blooded, that is homeotherms. For example, that means they are able to maintain a constant body temperature. Respiration is by the lungs, and air sacs connected to lungs supplement respiration. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal inside the body of the female. Then they lay egg, that means they are oviparous. Development is direct. Example, corvus, which is crow, then columba, pigeon, then psittacula, which is parrot, and struthio, which is ostrich, pavo, peacock, aptenodytes, penguin, neophron, which is vulture. Then class Mammalia. They are found in a variety of habitats. They are found on polar ice cap, on desert, on mountain, on forest, on grassland, and in dark caves. Some of them have adapted to fly or live in water. Most unique mammalian characteristic is the presence of the milk producing gland, that is mammary gland, by which the young ones are nourished. They have two pairs of limbs adapted for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming or flying. The skins of mammals are unique in possessing hair. External ear or pinny are present. Different types of teeth are present in the jaw. Heart is four chambered. They are homeotherms. They maintain a constant body temperature at any environmental condition. Respiration is by lungs. Sexes are separate and fertilization is internal. They are viviparous with a few exceptions, and development is direct. So the examples of oviparous mammalia are platypus, and viviparous are kangaroo, pteropus, then camelos or camel, monkey, rat, then elephant, then lion, tiger, as well as human being. So these are the examples of viviparous mammalia phylum. These are different salient features of different phylum which are present under the animal kingdom: Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, then Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, then Chordata. And this is the summary of the whole chapter. And so in this video we have studied about the animal kingdom, different phylums which are present under the animal kingdom, then characteristic features of those phylum or organisms present under those phylum. I hope you really enjoyed this and get benefits from this. And in my upcoming videos I will also upload any other topics which are present in your +2 first year biology syllabus of science stream. So stay tuned and like my videos, share with other friends and teachers. Also subscribe to my channel Sunanda's Tutorial. Thank you.